Hey y'all, what's going on? It's the Culture Critiques panel. We're back again with the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City's season 5, episode 17. This is the reunion part 1. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
And we're here. Finally, y'all. I apologize. This was my fault as to why.
There's no fault here.
Well, yeah, let me not say fault, because I had some unfortunate family emergency situations that I had to go tend to. So that is the reason behind us not having this up during our normal, time. Nonetheless, we missed you guys. So of course, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about all the things. We're still, finishing this season strong. This is part 1 of 3. Tomorrow we'll be seeing part 2. I am still very much amused. I'm still very much enjoying this season. I feel like that's pretty much, there's only been maybe like a couple, very, very small amount of people that I've seen in the comments that have not been enjoying the season. But for the most part, it's pretty even.
What they've been saying? What they say when they don't enjoy it? What they say?
Newsfest. They were like, oh, they keep all this banter about all of these superficial issues and stuff like that, and it was just giving like, okay, did you forget what Housewives is about? Because that's literally what any Housewives franchise is about. It's about them talking and them getting into it over superficial, stupid stuff. Like, are you new to this? Like, tell us you're new to this without telling us you're new to this.
It's called organic. It's organic. It's
like, let's be real.
You want less scripted.
Yeah, and I'm
like pulling teeth. We don't want
the whole drag out. Low down gutter. Almost get somebody, locked up type of drama. Like, is that what you would prefer? Because it should be more superficial, lighthearted. Fun shade.
Misunderstandings, not like drag out fights.
I don't want to talk about the isms, as Giselle would say. We shouldn't be thinking about that type of stuff when we're, watching entertainment television. It's to be entertained. Anyway, I enjoyed it.
Well, I just wanted to know, because that percentage has to be way, way small, because literally everybody that I've watched, loved it. Even the content creators that did watch and are sharing their thoughts about it, loved it just how we loved it. I was like, okay, so we weren't the only ones, and hating to see it go, and so that's why I was like, well, who's saying what? But we got to take care of the business.
Of course, always, y'all. We are streaming from not 1, not 2, technically 3 platforms, because I am streaming to X as well. So go on ahead, hit the like button on both of our channels, y'all. If you're watching us over there, come on over here down to the YouTube, hit the like button on both our channels, please and thank you. Also, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. We both have our own individual content as well. So go ahead, hit the subscription button on both channels, comment on both channels. Let's keep the conversation going. Shout out to the replay gang as always. And share us with everyone near and far. Near and far. Follow us on all of our social medias as you see them scrolling along the bottom there. If you would like to send a monetary donation, our cash apps are linked as well. And don't forget to check the description box for all other pertinent information. I think that's everything.
And the best free way to support us is hitting that like button on both channels, please.
Please. It helps in terms of the algorithm, especially because today I put this up today. So usually we like to, give you guys at least a day or 2 notice of putting this up there, so you guys know when, what time and place to be at. But we didn't put this up ahead of too far ahead of time. So hit the like button. That lets them know that we here, we are live, we're talking about the things. It helps us attract new subscribers, new folks to come on through.
Yeah, come out the bushes. If you're in the bushes,
I was about to say that.
Yeah, if you're in the bushes, just go on and put a wave. You don't even got to say nothing. You could just, there's just a wave out there that you could just like I'm here, like I was here, and that's it. Don't talk to me no more. I'm scared. You shouldn't be though. So yeah, because I used to be the same way. I remember when I didn't even know how to work it, and I used to see people's name in the chat, and they talking to each other, and they at each other like, oh, and then somebody finally at me, and I saw my name light up in the chat. I was like, whoa. So yeah, it's fun when you communicate with chat, y'all.
It is. It's a whole new world. What did Ariel say? Yeah, a whole new world. You get down here and you start engaging and stuff. I feel like that really adds a whole extra layer of entertainment, at least for us. We love, when you guys are active in the chat and all the things, bringing up different points. We love to hear y'all's different perspectives on stuff because it gives us something else to think about and, add to the conversation. So please, y'all, do all those things. And I was going to actually do this at the end, but I guess since we're talking now, I guess I'll do it now as people continue to come in the room. I just thought this was pretty interesting. I found it on Instagram last night. Let me share my screen. It kind of gave us like the breakdown of like the season and everything. Shout outs to the reality report.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I just like, maybe because y'all, I have a marketing background and stuff. So I just like looking at the analytics of everything. It just was interesting, like seeing who all had the most screen time and et cetera, et cetera. And as you see, although she's had her, ups and downs throughout the season, y'all, the rookie, Miss Mama Bronwyn, she had the most screen time collectively this season, which is crazy.
That is.
Like, as a newbie, maybe I just feel like that's crazy when you have people like Whitney and Heather and stuff that are down there on the bottom. Like, it's safe to say she's coming back, in my opinion.
I would take that bet. I would definitely take that bet. And I like this breakdown though. You're absolutely right. It's something to see. Hey, man. What's up?
And hey, Colette.
So Colette, my sis, my good big sis.
Just cannot please everyone. Yes, you cannot please everyone. So, there's always gonna be naysayers. That what they say, that haters are the motivators, right? So, that means that somebody's doing something right, because those same people that have so much to say clearly are still watching. You're still watching. So for you to be like, "Oh, the season was horrible," that means you still watch the season, though. So.
Snooze Fest, like if they saying boring and Snooze Fest, they over there. I think that means that they are people that watch Zeus Network. They need more action. Hi, my baby. Hello, my nanny cakes.
Hey.
But yeah, I think that's Zeus Network people. That's people that like the real.
I don't want to see people hitting people off the head with chairs and ripping people's lace fronts off. And I don't want to see, the people's, private areas exposed and stuff. Like, I'm good. I don't need to see that every day, all day. I like, we all like a little bit of ratchet here and there, but I don't need to see that all the time.
Not from every episode of the show. So
I didn't even notice this. This was kind of like funny to me because I do skip the intro, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, I do skip the recap and the intros when they come, like when they're showing especially on Peacock. But I didn't notice that taglines were only shown one time this season. Exactly.
Whoa! Like
no, because you're just ready for the show to come on. Like you didn't even notice these little details. Again, that's why I wanted to show you guys. Like
that says a lot, because that means that they want to get every little inch, every little second, every little creme de la creme they could get in there.
All 42, 47, however many minutes, they wanted it all to be about the show. And I'm good on that. Shout out to production.
Yeah.
The feuds, y'all, the total screen time of the top 10 feuds, whether taking place or being discussed by outside cast members throughout season 5. Yeah. That's quite interesting. We have Lisa and Whitney at the top. I mean, I'm actually surprised about that. I would have thought that it would have been Lisa and Bronwyn, honestly.
No, not the way Lisa and Whitney been going at it. They got it right. I mean,
yeah, I guess that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And yeah, Heather and Whitney, or Heather and Bronwyn, Lisa and Angie. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty spot on. Lisa and Meredith did not feud at all this season. That's because they have an alliance. Like I've been saying all season, they have an alliance, an OG alliance of convenience. They are, the best frenemies since Giselle and Karen, in my opinion. I don't think that they will ever be besties again, for real. But I think it's like one of those, we see each other, we know what we need to do. It's an alliance, in my opinion.
Okay, you say it's an alliance. I say that Lisa is forever gonna kiss Meredith behind because of the hot mic moment. So she does not want ever to cross a line with Meredith. Now, you might be correct though. You might be correct. They might have alliance, but I don't think it's them two alliance. I think that would be like the Heather them, especially when the Unica thing happened. They all kind of made a little pact, but there might be an alliance within an alliance. We might be. What is that show called? Big Brothers?
Yeah.
The alliance within an alliance within an alliance. So we both could be saying the same thing. But for me, I think Lisa's like, shoot, I should have just never said that.
But what would be the advantage though? Then, like, she wouldn't say that. You're saying like because then Meredith might expose her on something, or like what would be?
I mean, they probably do have a lot of dirt on one another. For even Lisa to say what she said on the hot mic clearly says that she knows some things. Whether Meredith gave us the what she was saying true, or not saying anything, or not giving no face, no nothing, just stone face, like nobody can read what I'm thinking. It's not that I'm agreeing that she's right or I'm gonna defend myself. It's not even worth defending. I'm not saying anything. That's what we got from Meredith. So I'm just saying, yeah, I think they probably got a lot on each other. Clearly, and then clearly in this reunion, in this 3-part, we already seen that Meredith is gonna lose her it, and then the thing that's gonna come out in this reunion, not that it's concrete or anything, but there was insinuation about Lisa. So yeah, I think there's some things that we both can be saying is correct.
I feel where you're coming from. Look, this person, such a snooze fest of a season, idiot. Anyway, neither did Whitney and Mary. I actually appreciate this. I appreciate the space that they're in. I love it. It's indicative of the space that individually Mary is in, and I think Whitney she just had her foot on Lisa's neck. That was the bigger fish out of the two. And I think she also knows not to F with Mary probably at this point in her life. I'm fine with them not feuding anymore. Let's keep it that way.
I don't think Whitney ever feuded with Mary. I think Whitney was always on the defense because Mary always thought that she's little girl, and she's always think that she was so ditzy, and the way she talked. And plus Mary always had defenses up. So no matter what, when it comes to Mary, if Mary didn't have a feud with Whitney, she realized she really didn't have a feud with her, and whatever it was so minute. What did I really have? Just let us know she really didn't have nothing on Whitney. She just was in a bad place at that time. At least that's why I look at it.
No, I think feud as in like there was just no drama between them, and I feel like that's because we have to remember that Whitney did. She's the one that kind of put the power behind the whole church cult thing or whatever. So that's what I said when I say now I feel like she's learned her lesson and knows like that's the wrong tree to bark up. So it's probably better for me to stay on Mary's good side than it is for me to be, on the other the wrong side of things. I think I think it's better for her to bark up like Lisa's tree, I guess, in this. I guess. Which is way more fun. It's way more funny. I feel like when Whitney says about, takes her little jabs at Lisa, at least for me. Storylines, the total amount of personal storyline of each cast member. Again, Broadway. Bronwyn, well, Bronwyn, she talked mostly about her relationships and divorce and motherhood. I'm not surprised at all about that because yeah, we didn't hear much about like careers, obviously. Yeah, we didn't hear about that at all. And then with Brittany, yeah, it was all about her relationships and stuff, which I also saw this morning too that that new Salt Lake City real estate show. I heard that Brittany's supposed to be on there too. So I mean, y'all,
is Brittany in real estate or no?
Huh?
Is Brittany in real estate or no?
Yeah. Remember
I can't remember.
Like, her house like was super nice. When I was saying, like, she has other things to talk about, that she's like a Broadway, she sung on Broadway and all these different things. She just doesn't lead with that. She leads with what we see right here, the relationships and etc. She needs to bring some of those other parts of her life in, and then maybe she won't be such a laughing stock to some people, in my opinion.
That's funny because I think she thinks that's a formula with Housewives. Like, I got to show my relationship. I have to show my relationship. And I'm going to need Jared to make a relationship out of this. I think she was almost like yearning and using that like almost like a crutch to have a storyline, thinking, like I said, she thinks that is the formula. It's like, no, girl, the formula is what you bring about you to make people want to like you. What is it about you? That's fine that you got a boyfriend and you got children and all that stuff, but we need to see more substance about you. And so I'm now saying that I do remember watching them on an after show, her and Lisa, and they were talking about I remember I told you that Lisa said she's putting a tanning booth in her house, and then she was like, oh man, I got to do that. I've never did that. And they were, so yeah, she was talking about building and stuff like that. So yeah, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's what background would be dedicated to, is them talking more about, yeah, like their individual, like just them, like as people. And hopefully she'll interweave some more of that into next season, because I want to say it's safe to say unless she does something completely crazy or budgets get cut that much, I don't see her.
What you mean like record people without them knowing? Like they're gonna.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean that's one thing that'll get her not, I think she learned her lesson with that one, y'all. God, Whitney just didn't give much at all. Interesting.
Whitney over there trying to make $1 or $2 on her jewelry,
I guess. Heather's annual finale monologue was equivalent to 45% of her season 5 storyline. Yes, that's right. That is correct. Flashbacks, the distribution of flashback screen time by season. Okay. I mean, obviously season 5. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because it's season 5.
Right.
Yeah. In total, you watch 25 minutes of flashbacks during season 5. I mean,
what, the reunion?
No, I guess they just mean collectively.
Oh, like, collective through the whole season.
Go back. I mean,
where we got 16 seasons.
That, though. Like, that's not an issue for me because a lot of times I forget like exactly what was said verbatim in a lot of these conversations. So I appreciate when they roll the footage back. Actually, that's fine.
That's what I said. But that's 16 episodes. 16 going to 25 only one time. So that means that's a minute or less, or a little over a minute for each time if they've done it, unless they did it in multiple, episodes. But that isn't that much. It's not that much.
They need a multiple episodes. I don't think it's that much. We need again, especially us as content creators or whatever. Sometimes we need our memories jogged a little bit. Okay. Throughout season 5, 4 episodes were longer than the standard runtime, 42 minutes without commercials. Yes, not including the 3 extended unfiltered reunion episodes. I made mention of this last week that the finale on Peacock for me was way longer, and I was loving every minute of that. We want to return to RHOSLC's season 6. I'm okay with everyone coming back, as I said before. The only negative thing I have to say about this part of the reunion, though, I will say I enjoyed it a little bit more when I watched it back and dissected it. But when I first watched it, I'm not going to say I was underwhelmed, but like I wasn't like fallen off the couch with my jaw dropping or anything like that. I was like, okay, it was cute. I guess it gave just enough. I am excited that it's 3 parts. I do expect the next part to, up the ante a bit. But it was cute. I would have to give it like maybe a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I would just, yep. I would go right around in there. I was gonna say 7. And I'll give it a 0.5 only because there were some things where in this, for me, the reunion, of course, it's like getting our feet wet, it's a little tippy toeing around, but there was a lot of pot kettle talk to me. There was a lot of throwing rocks and hiding their hands. And so that to me, I was just like, okay. And a lot of, what do they call that? Moving the stick or moving the
post.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, that's where we go. That's where we getting from this. So yeah, so you gave it a 7. A 7.5. I give it a 7. And anybody that's in the chat or in the comments, playback gang, y'all drop it in the comments and let us know what y'all thought.
Yes, please. And without further ado, let's get into it, y'all. So first and foremost, of course, all the ladies come out. I will say, as far as their looks, though, I appreciated Meredith's dress a lot more when we saw it up close, and I saw, the texture and the shimmer of it all. I liked it a lot more, especially without that coat thing or whatever. Everybody else's, I guess I still felt the same for the most part in everybody else's look, but I just wanted to note that Meredith's I appreciate a little bit more.
I kind of feel that way about Bronwyn's, but then I like, because it's cool, but I feel like the neck was a little overboard. But I like the way I like the way it looked when she came out, and I still stand firmly on Angie being the prettiest dress there. And then I didn't like the way the necklace swallowed my girl Mary's neck up when she sat down, and I did not like the
I didn't like her shirt.
I didn't like the gold fringe or the gold accessory, but whatever's on her sleeve and on the bottom of it. I didn't like the way it looks
sitting.
Like right there, kind of look more royal. But then I think when she sat down, it like kind of and Mary, it might have not been cheap. I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying it just looked like it didn't look as expensive or what I thought from this distance what it looked like.
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of her shoes and I didn't like those. They were like, she's wore them during the season before. She loves her platform Louboutin.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. She got on some they were almost like I guess they're blackish, gunmetalish color ones. I didn't like them with this outfit.
Wait, you said metallic like silver?
Yeah, they're like the dark. Technically
like bullet, like a chrome.
They're like black, blue, like dark
chrome,
like dark metallic ones, rhinestone ones. I want to say they're kind of, and I didn't like that blue black color. I didn't like them.
Yeah.
But everybody else, I kind of still felt the same on Lisa. I don't want to talk about anybody's because we're all going to age, y'all, and God willing, the universe is kind to me as I age. But yeah, Lisa, those lights were not doing her.
Oh yeah, I was like, I don't know why you were saying that. I was looking at Angie, so I was like, what is she talking about? Something, and then you said her name again, and so I panned back over to Lisa, and I said,
her face.
Yeah, but her face looked like it was melting under the lights. It didn't look together. Like you can see the texture of her skin from a distance. And these are old eyes, and I use my magnifiers. Can't wait to go get something. I don't know if I'm wearing contacts or what I'm gonna do. But however, if I could see that, then I was like, yeah, then it's not good. Not that I can't see it because I can't, but like literally, I was like, ooh, I see texture. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know like what is going on there, but yeah.
One other thing before we move on about the dresses, you did hear that Brittany had
to say that. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, so it appears as though Angie had to let us know that actually Andy pointed out that he had heard that Angie and Brittany had the same dress. However, Angie let us know that she won the dress battle, and as far as the economy goes, it's safe to say that, you know, she's in good standing with the economy because she's not one to return her items like some other people. Catch that. Yeah. Nonetheless, though, y'all, Whitney, when she came out, she did say hi to Lisa, which I thought was so funny. Angie also had to let us know that, yeah, from bench warming B to first chair, I see what she was doing there, but I feel like that's kind of when people are like, okay, Angie, like you're giving fan again, or you're giving, like, you know, how people like to always come at her neck and stuff like that. I feel like it's those types of comments. So I was like, okay, like let's relax. Nonetheless, all the ladies, they're filing out. Of course, Andy greets everybody, goes around, you know, says his, you know, usual spiel to all of them. And Heather, I was actually really happy that she lost her voice because I assumed that meant that we wouldn't hear from her much. But I guess, you know, that's not the case. Did you catch when Andy asked Bronwyn about, because Rihanna follows her now, I guess, that did she give her any advice or anything like that? She didn't answer the question. She just
sure didn't.
I'm going to channel my inner Rihanna. I'm like, that's not the question. There's
a lot of that going on in this. There's a lot of not dancing and swimming around things. There's a lot of not direct answers like I was getting while we were getting in before. We're just not getting direct answers. And yes, I noticed that. I was like, is that what Rihanna said in the DM? Is that what she said? No. That's what he asked.
Yeah, exactly. Just completely just bypass the question, but it's okay. It's cool. Whatever. Robert Jr. is doing good according to Mary. We love to hear that, y'all. Yes. And first and foremost, as he likes to do sometimes, he wants to like set intentions. They came up with some safe words because we got Angie and Lisa right here, and God bless poor Andy's eardrums. He's better than me because I would have some ear protection on for these reunions. Anyway,
that or get one of those things the megaphone talk to. Hey, I'm talking here. Be quiet.
Because I'm not screaming over y'all. That's definitely not happening.
Or a siren or the honk, you know, that little can horn. Honk. That shut up. Because you don't want to hear that. That is loudest. Like literally, he needs something that's gonna hurt them. Shut up.
So of course we get all the dramatic highlights from the season, and the first question up was in reference to, you know, Whitney and the Alibaba of it all. So again, a viewer had asked, you know, what is the story behind this whole Alibaba stock photo, you know, on the website? Whitney says that it was a 48-hour placeholder, nothing more, nothing less. They didn't have time to do an actual official branded photo shoot for this particular piece of jewelry. So they just put that up there for no more than 48 hours. And, you know, that should be taken as truth, because why would she go as far as to tattoo on her body something that's off of Alibaba? How do we feel about what she said right there?
I mean, I think that could be true. I mean, it sounds like that's credible. She said that her business partner is in Toronto or in Canada. That's what they was gonna do the shoot at. She's waiting to get the shoot back. If that's the placeholder, and if a lot of people do that or use this business and that's what they put out for your placeholder, then that's what they do. And clearly that must be because Lisa was quick to say, I understand all that. Okay, so then we're clear. Nobody said no. Nobody said no. I've never heard of that. I've never seen that. I don't know. I don't sell jewelry online, so I don't know if that's true but I'm sure maybe that's why people got that from Alibaba too, because maybe Alibaba has a placeholder that's the same thing. They might have the same use the same technique. And so it might be a generated thing. That's something that, or the general thing that they have. Could be.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I want to believe that that's the case, but at the same time, I'm still like wondering though, like again, though, why would stock photo? I don't know. There's still some details there that I'm confused about on how. I don't know. It still makes me feel like it's not as original as what she's proclaiming. If they were able to. So are you getting your wholesale? It would still make someone believe, I feel like, as though she's getting her wholesale from, she's wholesaling products from there, because why do you guys still have the same, photo? If anything, I would think that it would be from whoever's manufacturing your items or whatever. I could see them having an unofficial, like, even like a blueprint, like a rough, outline when you were in the design process. I can understand that that's usually like an internal document. I would internal file, I would assume. So I'm still confused as to how you got something off of Alibaba that would, like, how do you guys have the same thing without it being the same thing?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just so confused. What do you got to say? Have you seen the verbal rant Robert Jr. aired on social media towards the cast of Ladies on RHOSLC? You saw that?
Mm-hmm. Or, yeah, where he put
No, we talked about last week.
Yeah, that was the rant. Oh, yeah,
sluts or something. Yeah, if that's what we're talking about.
That's the one. Yes,
we talked about that last week. And Mary apparently told him to take it down or whatever.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, he was mad. That's all. He's mad.
Yeah. Who has her pieces? What you got? Cheap jewelry. And hello, Yoshi. Cheap jewelry. You all wearing it. Don't lie. You ordered it. That's how Alibaba gonna sue her for stealing designs. Like, I'm just kind of confused.
Why you think so? That's what you think?
Jesus. I'm just confused. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Really help it. Because from there, then Lisa is roped in the conversation, because it was giving, at least from a viewer perspective, it was giving, she just brought this onto the show to discredit Whitney, as a business owner, when at the time it appeared as though only one blogger was talking about it. So it was like, Lisa, you brought it up, and that, put even more wheels up underneath it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you guys clocked when Meredith even tried to jump in and talk about how basically proclaim her innocence in it, only to then interweave herself into it and make herself be the victim also, because she's like, yeah, I brought it up directly versus how you guys all do with me, and and I was like, Meredith, anytime she gets a chance, in my opinion, she's going to try to play the victim, especially in, stuff like this, especially if it comes to like Whitney being involved. I don't see Whitney being on good terms with either of them in the near future. I don't.
You talking about Meredith and Lisa?
No, I don't see Whitney being on good terms with Lisa or Meredith anytime soon.
I was like, that's what you say. Yeah,
I don't think, the real question is, who is buying Whitney's jobs? Who was buying the because wasn't this a more affordable line? So like, I'm like, who was buying the expensive line or the affordable line? My jewelry is from Melinda Maria. You could check the description box below. I don't know.
Oh, and their Valentine collection is so pretty.
It is. And today's the last day that you guys can get a free necklace. So again, check the description box. Use my code. I don't know, and I'm never also trying to knock another woman's business at all, but it's just there's too many inconsistencies here, and I feel like none of it was really clarified. But I wasn't surprised based on how we've been talking about it all season, how it wasn't adding up all season. So there was no way that in my eyes we were going to get to the bottom of it in the reunion. It's just, and Lisa actually starts to talk about that, because I think another viewer had asked her about and actually I know the person who asked this. Coincidentally, it was weird. It caught me off guard. I was like, oh my God, I know that person. Anyway, asked about, you know, the cybersecurity, you know, how Lisa said that she wanted to go the distance on that thing.
Child, that's what I put in my dang on notes. This is so funny.
She wanted to go the distance, y'all. But they asked her, was she able to, you know, do that or whatever? And her whole thing was she wasn't able to take action on it for real, because Whitney failed to give the receipts. So in my eyes, y'all, it's looking as though Whitney, you kind of screwed yourself over with this whole thing, which I feel like is something that I've at least been saying all season. And we even, I don't know, I don't think, did we play it? Did we play it back on here? I don't think we played it. I'm not sure if we played it back on here, but I know that I tried to give you guys some background story on what I heard as far as who the blogger was and what the whole like real deal was with how this story all came to fruition between Whitney, the blogger, the fake jewelry, all that type of stuff. And it's giving Whitney, you're looking less than truthful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I don't have no defense. All I can say is what I heard. I don't know unless they cut it. I don't feel like nobody came at her no more than what they said, and I feel like I guess Andy was like, we're just not gonna get to the bottom of it, so he cut it off. So that's why I don't have a lot to go on. I don't have a defense for her. I don't know. I don't care because I'm not buying no jewelry from her. I'm sorry.
She doesn't have a defense for her is what it is. Like, what she just needs to drop it because it's just making her look, I feel like, bad every time it's brought up because you really haven't gave us any substantial, you know, evidence as to like, this was definitely Lisa, this was definitely this person. It all is coming back to you looking like you just wanted to start some mess, in my opinion. Anyway, do we have anything else between Whitney and that whole thing? Heather prioritizes her. Oh, Andy had asked Angie about whether or not she prioritizes or how she felt about Heather coming off as though she prioritizes her friendship with Lisa over the friendship between her. And although I feel like Angie kept it cute in her answer, but she did let it be known that she still feels as though that's exactly what Heather did. And she didn't really take too kindly to it. Of course, Heather was sticking, you know, to her words, and she was just trying to downplay it, in my opinion, windmilling for Lisa and acting as though she also stands, you know, it stands with Angie just as hard. I don't feel like that's the case. You guys can let us know in the comments as well, in the chat as well. Do we feel like this was a valid question, and do we feel like Angie is entitled to saying, no, Heather, you were going way harder for Lisa than you were for me? I feel like she was. I feel like that's exactly what Heather is doing because we've seen it season after season after season. She has some crazy infatuation when it comes to Lisa, no matter what. And I feel like it sucks because Heather and Heather and Angie are the two that like go like way back and, you know, all the things. I feel like she sabotaged a, you know, genuine friendship.
She pushed Angie out the way to stand next to Lisa.
Yes.
And it's funny because out of her own mouth, I even put in my notes, but I don't know if we got to it yet because my notes literally, I know you're going to talk about what was said. So in my notes, I literally was like either answering something or putting, you know, what I didn't want to forget. But she even said something about how she's going to, you probably haven't got to it yet, but she says something like my loyalty and my newfound respect or my newfound loyalty. What did she put? Because I was like, what? Because I was like, Heather, I don't understand where all this is coming from. Like, I guess even from day one when we already had saw Lisa and her when they first started out, here it is. When they first, you know, started where Heather was a bigger girl and remember she was the fun girl or whatever the case was, and she didn't take that kindly to Heather at the time, and it felt like Heather has been trying to get on Lisa's good foot since that season. So I'm trying to find out where is all this loyalty and all this other stuff to Lisa Why is that there? Why is that there? Because I don't understand it. And the fact that, like you said, that she will like talk bad about Angie or talk behind Angie's back and say something. It's not even out the ordinary. Just some things, just don't say nothing. Like certain things shouldn't be said, especially if you're not gonna say it verbatim. And you know that your friend likes to become a victim in everything, Lisa. So you know, why would you go tell her something like that? You know she gonna take off and run with it. Even if you didn't say, and you did not say, yeah, would you say, I didn't call you a bad mother? Yeah, you didn't, but you insinuated I called her a bad mother. Yeah, you did. And I don't know what did you get out of doing that, and you made it worse. And on top of that, you're not taking accountability for it. You're sitting here saying, that's not really what I was trying to do. Like, yeah, but you did it. And later on, we're going to see her say that to somebody else. But again, the poll is going to move. You go say something about what they do, and then as soon as they say it about you, no, that's not what I was doing. Yes, you, Heather. You blew that up. You put that wedge in between them girls. Like you did that. And unconsciously, or now that you know it, you still didn't take accountability for it. You're just like, no, that's not what I was doing. You know, or maybe that wasn't my intentions. That's what you should have said. That wasn't my intention. I wasn't trying to do that. But it was. That's why you can't apologize for it.
I would have asked her one question and one question only, which actually was coincidentally brought up when Andy was greeting them all. I would have looked at her and been like, what's the name of your book, Heather? Good Time Girl? Oh, okay. That's it. Like, you literally are sucking up to a woman who actually, you know, says something nice or something less than kind about you, and like you're literally sucking up to her, and you know, you want to talk about begging for supper and stuff like that. You do that with Lisa every episode. What do you mean? Like, you were somebody who wanted to be accepted by the popular girls. You wanted to fit in with the cool crowd, and now that you're fighting tooth and nail to, you know, make sure that no one, you know, gets your spot. You're not giving that spot up without swinging. So if I was Angie, this would tell me everything I need to know about how I need to handle Heather going forward. Like, it doesn't need to even be any beef, because at the end of the day, it wasn't like they had a actual concrete fallout, nothing like that. It's just, I see how you move. I'm be over here on this couch. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just leave her to it.
Yeah, because literally Heather should be laughing at Lisa and telling her, like, you know, remember when you was shitting on me in season 1, you know, I took that and ran with, now this is what I'm doing. And oh, remember, because I wasn't the cool girl, I'm the coolest girl here. Okay, boo. Like, literally, you should be not, I'm not saying shit on her, but I mean, if you're gonna do anybody on this cast, that's who you be shitting on. And so it's just funny to watch you brown nose so tough with her, and somebody call you out on it, and you sit here and say, I'm just so loyal to Lisa, but for why? But for why? I don't understand. I just don't understand it. I mean, yeah, you're part of the mean girl clique, because let's be clear, to me, always Meredith and Lisa had their nose stuck up in from day one, and always just had this thing about them. I still like them. I mean, like their TV, but as far as them, that's how they were. Now you're sitting on the couch with them, looking like them and acting like them. So.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. From there, the conversation kind of takes a turn to roping Bronwyn in, actually, at this point, because Lisa's whole thing is she didn't want anything mentioned to Angie without her being the one to mention it. And Bronwyn's like, you know, that was never said. Like, all you said is that you were super upset. This made you cry, etc., etc. Mm-hmm. And Lisa's like, well, you know, if you want to be involved, then, you know, good. And she's piping up and, you know, over there saying whatever, who, pop, hot, whatever. And so, of course, then Bronwyn, because she's going to always match energies. If there's one thing that we have not seen about this lady this season, it is that she's going to match energies. And she's like, you know, Lisa, if you want to get big, because we can get big, Lisa. We can make it happen. Okay. And Lisa's like, you know, because she backed down, of course, like she always does. When somebody actually meets her where they need to meet her, I feel. But at the same time though, I do have to, you know, look over at Bronwyn and call you out, because yes, if she did say that she wanted to be the one to talk about it, or even if she didn't say that, that still technically wasn't your tea to tell. Like, you still didn't have to tell Angie that was still kind of not your place. I'm just calling, multiple things can be true at the same time, as I always say.
Yep, I agree with that. Bronwyn did not have to make the moment about her. Let it come out when it comes out. A lot of them should have did that on multiple different occasions, but
all the time.
Specifically one that, yeah, you didn't have to say nothing, especially because it does need to like literally come from the person that it's talking about, because they're the only one that's going to get the feelings out in the way it needs to come across. If I told you anything, just like, you know, if I just said my son came in here and said hello, if he came and said hello the way he would want to say hello to you, and opposed to me just saying, hey, my son said hello, it's gonna be totally different. I'm gonna get a total different response. You're gonna be like, oh, tell him I said hi. He walk in here and you go like this, hey Barb, her face gonna light up. You gonna see her be like, so literally, you know that about people when you're telling somebody else's teas. So you should, unless it's a family member, like, and you talking about family, there's sometimes that's not as good either, but I'm just using that as an example. But if it's not, like with family, it's a little different, because we know each other. So, you know, you might I can convey how my sister is, and you can see how I know how my sister is. So you might I might get it right. But for the most part, yeah, let them say their own stuff, especially if she already told you, I'm upset. And she did say that. She said it more than one time. And she did not say, don't say nothing. She's like, I'm just going to have to, when somebody say, I'm going to have to go talk to them, that is not the green light for you to go talk to them.
Yes. And I think it all comes down to two, like the biggest factor here is that we're on a reality TV show called The Real Housewives. So anytime, like you run the risk, anytime you get involved in somebody else's stuff, you run the risk of it coming back on you and you looking crazy, which brings me back to points I made earlier on in the season, which really pissed me off when it came to Bronwyn, about the whole Girl Scout whatever camp day thing they did or whatever, when she was in that car. I'm not saying that what she was saying, I'm not saying that the point she was trying to make in the van or whatever with Lisa and Meredith weren't accurate. Like, no, I get exactly what she was trying to say, but the fact of the matter is that you shouldn't have been the one to say it, because no matter what, it's going to make you look crazy. And I really hope that's something I attribute it all to rookie mistakes. Ultimately, this is, that's something that you could find yourself in the middle of very easily on. I feel like if you're coming into this, as a newbie, I'm hoping that that's something that she's now watched back and changes about herself during this upcoming season or during season 6 or whatever, because it's gotten her into, I feel like, some hot water more times than not. I feel like that's been her biggest flaw on the show, is this exact thing that we're talking about. Heather again doubles down on the fact that Angie was seeming different and how she was supporting Lisa in the moment. It wasn't giving supportive friend, basically. Whatever, Heather. Moving on. Then we get into, and correct me too, because I might have already skimmed past it. For some odd reason in my notes, I didn't annotate when I think it was Angie. Is it Angie or Bronwyn? I think it was Bronwyn that brought up the whole Lisa's truck getting repossessed or whatever. Was that on this part?
Oh,
am I making things up? Yes.
The Twitter. Well, yeah, because he brings up the city. Yeah, where you sit on the phone with the Park City Mystery Man. Yeah, because he brought up, because Angie has said something like, I when you text.
Oh, here. Oh, I got it.
That's what brought it up, because basically they and it was so funny because Angie was like, yeah, I'd rather not. I'd rather brought it up here. I didn't want to text, and I didn't, and be over the phone. You get it. get it misconstrued and whatever. And then Inga Mandy, yeah. So you used your phone via Twitter, and now you can go with your text because I didn't write down. I got the gist of what he said, which was about the Park City mystery man.
Yes, apparently Angie claimed that Lisa had a Park City mystery man, and again, Angie says that the only reason why she brought this up was because Meredith posted that she was a backup dancer to Jen Shaw for her WAP video that her and Jen and was that Gunica? Yeah, that they did some years ago or whatever. And in the screenshot of the tweet or whatever, it said that Angie wrote, "My lips are as full as my life, thanks to my doctor who I pay with my own Amex card, not a Park City mystery man's. Unlike Lisa's G-Wagon, my lips can't get repoed. I'm not your bestie in prison, so I'm not interested in a gangbang, but it's cute you two had to team up night." There's one thing we cannot take away from Lisa, and I know, Kevin, you don't want to hear this, but Angie, when she needs to get something off her chest in this type of situation, she's going to let it be known. I bet you Lisa did not see that one coming. However, at the same time, I'm just thinking about it. And when you think about it from a realistic perspective, though, y'all, every time one of these ladies even steps a toe out of line, every time their Amex card gets declined at Nordstrom, or they're late on a electricity bill or whatever, anytime these types of things come up in these ladies' lives, we hear about it. So at the same time, I understand that, if somebody comes for me, I'm coming for you even harder. I get it, Angie, but you're talking about Lisa's G-Wagon got repossessed. Like, I don't know. I don't believe that, because we would have heard about that. Like, that's not something that just would have happened and no one would have honed in on it the way that people go up for Lisa. Like, we would have heard about that. So that was my whole thing with that. As far as her being a backup dancer and stuff like that, Meredith says that she was just answering question about how, her reaction to the scroll. This is another reason for me. This was just another reason why I like this franchise so much, because, like, what are we talking about here? Like, backup dancers, WAP videos, cars getting represented. Like, this is the funny banter, and it still is light enough that we can find humor in it. At least I can. I didn't really take this too serious, of course.
I didn't take it serious either. I just
funny.
My thing with this little scene right here is that we do get that where it came from. Like, it didn't just the repo G-Wagon thing that just come out of thin air, right? We're gonna figure out. We will talk about why it came out, but even still, you're right. We would have heard about that. So for her to take that and run with it, I don't know how it was presented to her, and we are gonna get to but I don't know how it was presented to her. But for her to run with that is like, I wouldn't have did that. I would have stuck to what I know, and not what I think I know, or something that can't be brought back. So I was just like, that wasn't cute. That's not cute. And y'all know that girl. That's one thing. I do not see that girl getting nothing repoed or none of that. Like, no, I don't see none of that.
Although I'm the first person to call out the fact that it's honestly, I'm not gonna say y'all. When I say y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all really put this lady on a pedestal of why her head is so big. I feel like, Lisa, that is, like, y'all are the reason why, like, she wants to think that she's, the queen bee and stuff like that, because y'all give her, I feel like, that status. The Heathers and the other people amongst them, they're but in this situation, I do feel like, we have to be realistic when we say, like, obviously she's on this show for certain reasons, and I don't think that her getting her G-Wagon repossessed is consistent with the person that she portrays herself on the show as being. Like, I don't see that happening. There might be some other questionable things about her, of course, but I just don't think that that's one of them at the same time, y'all.
And here's another thing, as far as her being the background dancer, are you about to discuss that right now, or this is?
No, I don't have anything else to say about it.
Okay, yeah, that's the only thing. That was the other thing. As far as Meredith trying to play like, yeah, I was just saying that I was stating facts. The fact was you were a background dancer. She's like, no, I'm not. I've never been a background. She's like, girl, I see through the how you trying to parallel it, or you trying to rephrase it, or trying to make me seem like I'm in the background, or that I take orders from. I get it. I see you, Meredith, and Meredith sitting there just like, no, I was just saying you really. The fact was that all the time. A background dancer. That's all. I was like, Meredith, this is that we can't stand about you. This is like you will sit here and act like I was just saying that just to say it. I wasn't meaning anything by when you were. It was a dig for you, and it's so flat that you just don't even know what to do with yourself. And it's just like I don't like her playing in my face. I don't like her playing in Angie's face. I just don't like that. Like Meredith, we all can see you. You're not doing anything.
I would respect her so much more. I feel like it would be more entertaining, and I would be so much more like, okay. And I feel like that's the difference between her and like a Bronwyn, in my opinion, because I feel like the times where Bronwyn was, on some stuff, she was the first person to call that out about herself. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it more when they're forthcoming about them being shady. Like, girl, like let's be real. Like you were being shady. Like whatever.
Annoying.
But that's just classic Meredith, y'all. Mm-hmm. But then we move on over to more. Even like if things weren't already cloudy and confusing, it got more cloudy and confusing when we get into this whole $4 million necklace of it all.
4 million?
4 million, no million, not in her closet, trillion. So Andy thought that Bronwyn was going to wear, y'all remember the expensive necklace, the Palm Spring. We remember that. Andy thought that she was going to wear a necklace. Ha ha, he he. She says that, she was going to wear it because she thought, would clear up a lot of questions. And he's like, what questions? And she's like, questions in reference to, it being in her possession, basically. Mm-hmm. Word on the curve is, that it wasn't really hers for real. She says a lot of people were inquiring about it. And she says that she says that she went to a vault. Yeah, that she went to a vault. They brought her a few pieces back from said vault, and she was able to, pick from them. And she wound up picking some hoop earrings that weren't shown. They weren't the studs that were shown. There's some hoop earrings, and a smaller version of the necklace that she had tried on. I was already confused there. So then from there, Heather, I was confused.
I thought she said she ordered. I thought she said she ordered a smaller necklace. Not that they had. That which they should have, but I thought she said she ordered
it. I don't know if she ordered it. She picked, selected, however you want to put it.
Okay.
A smaller necklace. Not the one that we saw, even though it was already said previously that was the necklace that she got. Confusing, y'all. You see, we're already confused here. Not only were we confused, if you look over at the other couch, Lisa and Heather are also like confused. Bronwyn, I'm with you when you're right, but I'm gonna call you out when you're looking crazy too. Mm-hmm. And in this particular matter, you were looking kind of weird. And she says that that's when Lisa jumped in. And to make a long story short, Lisa's like, well, Emma says you didn't buy it. She says you never bought anything. You didn't buy a ring, a necklace, earrings, nothing was purchased. And Bronwyn, I'm not going to say her face cracked, but her energy definitely shifted from what I saw. She was very much like, and I feel like she kind of talked about a little bit about this on Watch What Happens Live, and I'll get into that in a second. But from what I saw, your energy shifted because you were caught in a weird lie. And she says that her and Emma, they're going to have to have a conversation because that wasn't the case. She finds it weird that a jeweler would tell someone else what she did or didn't buy. And multiple things can be true at the same time. Yeah, that's weird. Emma shouldn't have did that. word on the curb is she ain't got no job no more, and I don't really blame her.
I believe
Whether
that.
she bought it or didn't buy it, like it's nobody else's business. Like you can't just be telling your client's business, period.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Bronwyn, your story's kind of inconsistent. Even in this moment, I feel like it changed a time or two. And so then Whitney, because she always has her foot on Lisa's neck, y'all, of course. She's like, why did you even ask in the first place? Like, what? That's weird. Another thing can be true. Lisa, yeah, why did you ask? Lisa's like, no. I didn't ask. She reached out to me. Like, me and her, we may have not talked in like 2 years or whatever, but we know each other. We're like, I've dealt with her, whatever. We're friends, whatever. And she says that she reached out to her because she was kind of like, you know, thrown off or whatever. She was kind of, I guess, irritated that, you know, Bronwyn's going around saying that she bought something when she really didn't buy anything, never buys anything. And Bronwyn's like, oh, you know, she makes note of the fact that Lisa said that she reached out to, you know, to her. She's like, does she feels comfortable reaching out to you about, you know, whether or not my husband purchased things for me? Like, yeah, noted. And Angie the whole time, she's like, she did not call Lisa. She did not. You know, Angie loves to. She's like, she did not call you. And Mary's like, oh no, honey, I will never be shopping with her because no, ma'am. Can't blame her for that. Mm-hmm. And again, Angie's caught. What am I writing? She's confused as to why Emma would reach out and start all this up. And Lisa, she's on the other couch. Lisa and her whole couch are pretty much like, well, you know, she reached out to me, and that's just what she told me out of the blue. I did not start this whole thing up. And quite frankly, like, I really don't even want to be in the middle of it, but this is just what I was, you know, told. And she's actually brings up the text message. She's like, I have the messages to prove it.
No, Whitney was like, show the text. I said,
yeah, like, show the text. Okay. She had the proof. She had the proof. Yeah. She hands the phone to Andy, y'all. And he's looking, and his face kind of gets all screwed up. And it was not looking good for Bronwyn. I will tell you guys that right now. It was not looking good for her. And apparently she was supposed to wire the money for the necklace. She never, or for the hoops. She never wired her the money, wound up returning the hoops. Mm-hmm. And apparently there were more text messages that were not too nice about, you know, Bronwyn and her antics or whatever about this whole situation. And Andy kind of summed it up to Emma feeling burned by Bronwyn pretty much.
Yeah, because she said that she'd be loaning her jewelry. So if I'm loaning it to you and you're not purchasing from me, I'm putting my job on the line for you, which means you're using me to use my jewelry to show people something, and or, because this is what I'm thinking, if anything, her and her husband were watching these shows. Her and her honey is watching the show back, and there's times where their arguments are stupid, and I have a feeling that there's times where he either throws it up in her face or she brings it up like, well, I don't need your necklace, and it's a back and forth thing, like, or I'll give it back and you can take it back. And I think they probably do that, and I feel like there's a time where that $4 million was one of those arguments. And so she was like, and then it boiled back down to, okay, well then, you know what? I'm not going to get you the $4 million when I did say I was going to get you a necklace, but we can bring it down a little bit. And then they probably had another argument within that time or whatever. I'm not saying this to be true, Todd, and y'all. I'm just, in my opinion, I can see this happening because I just feel like sometimes y'all seem like y'all petty like this. But I just kind of feel like, they argue a lot, petty argument, and the jewelry is getting thrown in the face, and then, you know, like, take it back, and oh no, you can, no, I don't want it, and yeah, just order it and we'll get it to them, and then, you know, like that kind of thing. I don't know, and I'm hoping that Andy addresses it with Todd, and he can tell us that, you know, what it is and what it ain't, because that's another.
It's your money. Did you spend the money or not?
I don't know if Todd would get on TV and floss like that. That's gonna look bad.
No, what do you mean? He's the one that pulled out the black card at the table when no one was even talking about black cards.
I know. So I say that to say, I don't see that he don't have the money and not paying for it. I don't see him doing that. Why would he even bring all that up? Why are you talking on TV for us?
That was a big deal. Like that was the whole thing that solidified us in knowing like, oh, they got some money, like $1 million. Oh, that was literally the episode where it was like $20,000 a night for this resort Airbnb, whatever, the $1 million necklace. Like that is what
taking everybody on a jet.
Yes, that is taking everybody on a private jet. That's what solidified. Oh, y'all got money. Okay,
y'all got money.
Looking like weird. And then she even kind of like started to, I feel like, backtrack again, or she threw me off again on the or the Watch What Happens Live too, because she talked about how like, leading up to the reunion or whatever, her and the jeweler had been corresponding or whatever. So it was more, that's kind of what caught her off guard, is now Lisa bringing this up. And she's like, well, I've been talking to her. So like, this is all news to me. Like, that I feel like that's what she tried to use to justify her energy shift. No, it was because you got caught in a lie. That's what the energy shift was, not because we was corresponding and no. And I want to say she also said there Todd brought up how it was just too flashy in this economy and blah blah blah. And that's not what you said on the reunion either. Like, and just like Emma about to lose her job. I heard she did. Just like Ella, I don't want to mispronounce the second name, but as Ella said, I don't know why Bronwyn didn't just say she changed her mind on it and left it at that, because now she's in this mess. That's what I'm saying. Like, you could have just said different things.
I'm glad you brought that up, Ella. I'm glad you said that. I'm sorry to cut you off, sis.
You're not helping your case.
That's that, and the fact that you came to that. Like, here's the thing. She started off saying, I could have wore the necklace and it just would have brought everybody would, the questions would have stopped and da 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 da. And then Heather's all, what was the questions? What was the question? Girl, Lisa told you, shut up, be quiet. Because you be trying to start these little fires. You start little fires, and then you be acting like I ain't said nothing. So that's she was doing that. It was another time, I'll bring it back later, but she was starting a little fire when she did that right then. And then, that's why you wore all this all this stuff around your neck so that you wouldn't have to wear a necklace and nobody could call you out. That's why you was all dripped down and all this material. Because if I'm not mistaken, you were walking down the street when it rained today with a 3-piece bikini. Down there, she wore itsy bitsy kitty weeny polka dot bikini. Did you not? She did walk down the street like that. So all I'm saying is, girl, we know we know you wore it like that because you didn't have it. And then you mad they called you out, and then you're gonna try to say, like you said earlier, or you say in this reunion, you should say, I try to say, I try to say it before they can say it to me, right? That's why you said that. Oh yeah, I wanted to change it. Oh no, because I did buy them. Oh no. Oh no, I didn't do. Girl, you backpedaling, your heart was beating fast. You was looking at Whitney, thought that was Todd trying to find somebody to be like, you was so mad Todd wasn't sitting behind you, and you could just be like, Todd, can you tell them? Because you was out there like, I can't say nothing. I didn't write the check. I don't know if Todd did take the check. Maybe Todd didn't. Child, don't get me started. Todd Marley didn't even send the damn check.
Hey,
Auntie.
So confusing. Hey, Auntie Bernice. Lisa cost that jewelry assistant her job and didn't give a care about it. Wicked Witch needs some conditioner and hair growth for that stringy thin hair. That's the part I kind of have to disagree with, though, is Lisa didn't cost her job. The assistant cost her. If it happened like that, she cost herself her job because no one told her to open her mouth in the first place. You can't.
I think what Auntie's saying is that we know God don't go will. You either call Emma, or let's say Emma called you. Girl, what you up to? I ain't talked to you in 2 years. What you up to? What you got going on? Are you and Bronwyn still feuding? Oh, you are? Well, girl, let me tell you.
But at the same time, Emma to be the responsible employee and not fall for the okie doke, and protect her employment and not allow her to get extract information from her that can land her in the unemployment line. So ultimately, ultimately, no. Do I think Lisa? No, Lisa didn't have to bring that up. And I want to say I heard somebody else had mentioned that in Lisa's case, the only thing I can say on the contrary is perhaps Lisa may have thought that they were going to like blur out or omit Emma's name, and they didn't, obviously. Which then would still land us in the same situation. That's giving her the benefit of the doubt. Either way, Emma better never do that again. Bronwyn, you either need to, put your money where your mouth is, and Lisa, just completely stay out of other people's business, is what I would say to everybody.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Emma, I know Emma ain't got no job. I know
at all.
Not with that jewelry company. She doesn't.
No, and they showed her face too. Well, actually, because then she showed her face on because NDA. I'm trying to like see how this could have been flipped maybe a different way, but I don't know.
And the fact that she said she didn't purchase anything, literally, are you sitting there lying to everybody, Bronwyn? Because like, why are you sitting here? If that is really the truth, or was old girl just exaggerating? Like she ain't really bought shit. Like from a $4 million necklace to she bought some $300 earrings and a $500 bracelet, or even go $1,000 bracelet, $1,000 earrings. Would you consider that nothing compared to if this girl was going to buy a $4 million ring? Would you say that's nothing? Would that can be considered nothing, or would you really be saying that she bought nothing from her? Because really, if that's the case, that could be like defamation. Can't she sue for that?
Yeah, Emma, come to the front, please. Because she's probably the only other person that obviously can give us the perspective on this whole thing that we need. I want to know if she's ever bought anything to include this necklace, that necklace, these earrings, those earrings, whatever.
Because nothing is nothing.
It's not making sense at all. And like I said, then she said something different on the Watch What Happens Live. It's just, you should have just not even tried to came on here flexing is what it's giving.
Yeah, because Watch What's Happening Live are live, and then you still didn't bring on your necklace then, or an earring or nothing, and the reunion had already taped. So, but at this time, if you had something, I got this from Emma, the same one that said I never bought nothing, thought I'd wear these. Thought I'd get this. I thought I'd wear this one. The one this is the one. Sure did. See, so that to me, Bronwyn is that type that would, if she got a point to prove, she gonna prove that point. And I feel like you ain't proving no point. So I'm kind of leaning over towards you ain't bought nothing, chick.
That's what it's looking like. Y'all. But speaking of Bronwyn, then they play her package. Y'all, I wasn't surprised about that, obviously, based on like we saw the analytics before. Bronwyn has been on our screen the most out of everybody this season. Kevin, you're funny. Lisa and Bronwyn haven't spoken in over a month at this point in time, and Lisa doesn't, because I think Andy had asked her about whether or not she regrets bringing Bronwyn onto the show, and she's like, no, she doesn't regret bringing Bronwyn on the show. However, she doesn't plan on bringing anybody else on the show. She says, let the locals do it, and she's over it. She doesn't want to be the referral person anymore. She's recommended Heather. Who brought on Whitney, Angie K, who was actually like everybody's friend, really. She that other lady who we don't talk about, who's racist, Angie H, Bronwyn, like she's good. She's recommended enough people. and then he asked Bronwyn whether or not she was disappointed that she came on as Lisa's friend, only for her to then kind of, turn on her. And Bronwyn said, well, during the season, she was convinced that it all came down to something wrong going between them. And that's why it came off as though she was just trying to run after her and, make amends and really get to the bottom of things. So once she sat back and looked at it, it was coming off as though, and those are the times that it came off very nitpicky and stuff between her. And then for Lisa to say in her confessional was that nothing went wrong. It was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, I see where we are with it. And in Bronwyn's eyes, she just didn't know that they weren't as close as they were. In her eyes, they were deeper. They had a deeper friendship than what Lisa thought. And Lisa actually does admit that it was more surface between her and Bronwyn.
They had a social
friendship. And I'll say that in a minute, but wasn't surprised by that. And then that kind of turns into another viewer question that put Heather on the spot and asks her if she regrets how she treated Bronwyn after watching the season back. Like, does she feel like she was unfair to her? Whatever. Of course, Heather is going to say no. She's going to, attribute it to how Bronwyn came off very sure of herself, and then only for her to then say something different about Whitney. She doesn't regret it. And wasn't surprised about that either. What else was said? Whitney feels like Bronwyn doesn't publicly claim her friendship, and that's kind of like, I guess, a slap in the face for her, because she feels like she was there for her and kind of like had her back and was like a friend to her during the season. So it's kind of like, well, you consistently place Lisa on this pedestal when, like, we ain't got nothing to do with that. Like, come on now.
But literally, it makes sense though, because like, if Lisa's my friend, or I thought that was my friend, and Lisa and you don't really get along, it makes sense that I don't really mess with you, or you're not gonna be the first person even though I'm trying to get to know you, I'm not shunning you. I'm just saying I'm still gonna look out for Lisa first. In my head, if I was Whitney, she should know that about Bronwyn. That's her friend. But go ahead. Outshine her. Bronwyn and Todd definitely outshine her and her husband in every way possible. That's true. That's why she is coming so hard. But it's funny that you say that though, Auntie, because literally she was so proud. And when Bronwyn first came on, it was like, because Bronwyn was like a bright spot. She comes in all this couture outfits and things. She's like, everybody's like, wow, we are people. I don't know, because I don't wear couture stuff and I don't care to, but they are like, wow, yeah, oh, that's expensive. I even saw the black lady when she came in with that heart. There was a black lady in the background. She was like, girl, that thing is expensive. I said, girl. And so when she said that, I don't know, because I don't watch a lot of, that's not my thing, but I was just like, okay. It was cool and everybody was good. You was good when everybody thought that Bronwyn had some type of status with this money and that she can spend money. And then, the more, then when she called you out on the trip, when she took you to the jet and stuff, on the jet and stuff, that's when it kind of pivoted. And I was just like, I don't know. I just feel like, I feel like Lisa's the user. Lisa's just like a user. Like, she clings on to whoever. If it's cool right then, okay, cool. Like right now, Heather's cool, so her and Heather cool. But if Heather ain't cool right now, like she was in the first season, she wasn't trying to hang out with Heather.
For Lisa to sit there and refuse to apologize for talking about Gwen's situation on air, defending the grandparents and defaming Bronwyn at the same time is diabolical. # wicked witch bucket water. Yeah, we're gonna get into that in just a minute. I definitely have my viewpoint on that. But as far as this whole friendship, non-friendship, surface versus deeper friendships, whatever, between Lisa and Bronwyn, I feel like, well, Heather, you need to stay out of it, because then Heather started to bring up what the whole like Palm Springs thing and how like, well, yeah, you were never going to invite me in the first place, and that was clear when I walked in there. It was a couples trip, and I
don't agree with that, but go ahead.
wish somebody else would have jumped in on that one.
I was
Because
like,
Bronwyn has her things about her, obviously, but that's one of the things that I'm going to be on her side with. We've already, I feel like, talked about that in nauseum at this point. And I feel like before it was Bronwyn actually did, and I wish Heather would have shut her up in this moment because she cut her off before anybody could say anything. Bronwyn actually looked around at them and was like, she asked the other ladies if they felt like she was trying to embarrass Heather when she asked her to come over her house to fix it. And instead of anybody chiming in to answer, Heather got her raspy ass voice fucking going and asking, what did she say? Like, it doesn't matter what was projected, it matters what happened. See, that's her.
And then that's gonna move again at the end of this. What she just said right then can apply to her in another situation, and she gonna skate over it so quick. I'm gonna bring it to y'all, but just remember that this is what Heather just said. She just flipped it real quick, like whatever was projected. It's not what was projected, it's what happened. Yeah, but whatever happened still could be took in different ways by different people. So shut your ass up, like you said. Go ahead.
Yes. Whitney thinks that it just comes down to it being a miss on both sides. She sees where Brown was coming from. She also knows how Heather is. Then they get into Heather being or Heather, as she would say, she came into like season 1 being the underdog and all that, because they start talking about the whole whether or not Heather's changed, because now she has her, in this new body and all that. Mary actually was the one to speak up on Heather's behalf in this moment, which at first threw me off, but then I had to think back and remember why it shouldn't throw me off, because if we remember at the finale or whatever, when they're going around divulging their deep dark texts or whatever, Mary did come at the angle, or she did bring up the fact in her text that she said that Heather has changed. She's less than or she's like giving more mean girl than she was in earlier seasons, etc., etc. But she, even in that moment, Mary did say that that's how she felt at the time, but she didn't currently, I guess, like really feel like that anymore. So even in this moment, like I said before, I was like, but then I had to think back and I was like, oh wait, I forgot, she doesn't feel like that currently. So I don't know. Y'all know I'm liking Mary this season, but I don't know. Like Heather, I don't know if I can take my foot off her neck about that, because she really is on this high pedestal of Heatherdom, and I can't see past it for some reason. Did they say anything else before we get into the whole Gwen conversation? I don't think so. Just Heather talking about how she's pouring more love into herself, etc. Whatever.
She's so happy and she's so confident, and she was, I got what she was saying, because literally, I never thought that Heather from jump ever had no low self-esteem, big girl or not. Nothing about Heather came across like she's got low self-esteem. She, or she's a mean girl, because I never thought Heather to be a mean girl. I always thought of bad weather. They were always fun for me. So I never thought of Heather like that, but I did start seeing things changing her. It was before the weight loss. It was just something going on in her. Like literally when Jen left is when the switch flipped. Like, oh, my bully's gone. My bully's gone. I can breathe. I can be myself, and that's fine. Because if that's how you took it, or if that was your bully, and she was holding your voice, cool. But that's when it changed. I don't think it had nothing to do with her weight loss and all that stuff. That is a plus, and nobody should ever, unless this person just becomes a complete idiot. So when they're losing weight or starting to look better, you should be happy for the person that's different, because there are people taking those a bit. But the people that lose weight like myself, that work hard for it, you should be happy. But when you're doing it with a pill, you just don't get the same. You don't get the same grace or the same. Hey, good job. You've been working out hard. Like you don't get the same thing.
I think if it's in connection medically, like if it's medically prescribed and all of that, because I know people that, you know, had to go that route and stuff like that, and it has done wonders for them or whatever. But no, I think what you're trying to say is the people that just going to jump on some operation table and, you know, don't want to do it. Yeah. The old school way. Yeah. I think it definitely is a different level of, you don't have, I wouldn't think that you'd have that same level of like accomplishment or whatever. It's right. A different type of dedication, I feel, because it's a lifestyle change. And that's, I feel like so quick to jump on somebody's table or to go like the easier route with this whole thing. A lot of times, those are the same people that wind up, you know, retrogressing because it's a whole lifestyle change. And while you're lifting with every rep you're doing, you're changing internally and externally. It's beyond just, you know, a quick fix thing. It's about consistently, you know, dedicating yourself to a different way of life. Anyway, off my soapbox.
Amen. Yep, that's true though. That's where I'm at with it.
And I went to the gym today, so
come on now, come on, Jimmy Jim.
That y'all. No, Heather is never going to stay out of it when it comes to Lisa. She will always worship the temple of Lisa. You got a black eye from that last temple. What you going to get at this one? Exactly. I don't know. I don't know, but it's so gross to watch every single episode. So Mary speaks up for Heather, yet called her in an earlier episode with Lisa and Brittany after the zipline excursion. Make it make sense. So Mary,
but that's what we were saying. So remember, the reason why, like, if we go back into the episodes, Mary was looking at Heather side eye and all that. But once they got the text, when they did the text in the finale, it was like, I'm telling you, this is the worst text. This is how I feel about you. This is what I thought, and they like kind of let it go. So if I'm trying to make it make sense, and when you say that, that's the sense I'm making out of it is that they tried to clean it up. You know, they're like, look, this is what I was feeling. This is how you was acting to me. So, but from here on out, I don't feel that way. Or you let me know that this is not how you've been acting. So now we're clean slated.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, and I feel like that was the case for I guess that's the case for them. Even Bronwyn said the same thing on the Watch What Happens Live, that with what Angie said about her. She, you know, she was like, bygones be bygones, as they said going into it. She thought it was a good idea. She stayed true to her word that, you know, they were going to leave it there on the table. Tom, on the other hand, not so much. And I feel like we're going to get into that probably next season, because you
mean next episode?
Next episode. Well, yeah, I mean, it might get addressed next episode. Yeah, maybe. It should get addressed next episode, I would say. But he's not. He's kind of sticking to his guns on that one. He's still not really an Angie fan about what she said. So.
Oh, I'm thinking about something. I'm thinking about what Lisa said, that's going to be addressed.
Oh yeah, that's going to be addressed too. But
yeah, you were saying Angie. Yikes!
This is still something that should be addressed, because I'm assuming they're going to talk. Obviously, they're going to talk about every little bits and pieces. So what Angie said in those text messages was significant. So it should get brought up, and I'm sure, if Todd's on the stage, he's going to say his.
Because when he was on Watch What Happened Live, Andy asked her if he forgave Angie, and he said he had not.
Exactly.
He said no.
Which
and then Brown was like, no, but I'm working on him. And I'm thinking, you can work on him all you want. You don't want to forgive her.
Yeah, which is going to bring me to I guess I'll save that for then, but that brings up the whole I feel like this is a constant freaking ongoing conversation that we have pretty much on all these types of shows, where it's like, okay, is it okay? Is it, is it justified for this husband to address this wife, and this wife to address this husband, and et cetera, et cetera? I think as it pertains to this situation, I feel like what Angie said ropes both her and Todd in. So I have no issue with him still, not being on board and not over it. He can still have a grudge about it, in my opinion. I think that's justified, because it involved both the daggers involved, were pointed at both of them.
I agree.
But let's get into Gwen and everything, y'all. So another viewer question had popped up, and it was directed at Bronwyn, which went, a bit like, you discovered that Lisa knows Gwen's paternal grandparents. Was that something that you came onto the show intending to talk about? She says, absolutely not. I believed her when she said that. I don't believe that she came.
Heck yeah, as long as her husband ain't never seen a picture of that man. Yes, definitely
that's real life stuff. But like, I just making sure.
She was trying to conceal that for a long time. If she had not shared that picture with her own husband, who loves and cares for her daughter, do you really think she was trying to come on this show and show anything? No.
Hey, I had to just pause there and ask y'all real quick, because I did see some people online kind of challenging that, and I was like, no, again, I feel like there's a lot. They give us more than enough stuff to challenge, I feel like, on these shows, but I do trust Bronwyn when she says she didn't come on this show to jump into all of that. I don't see her doing that at the expense of her child. I don't. So, of course, this is where things start to get more emotional. Bronwyn assures that she's never even showed, as we said, a picture of Gwen's dad to even Todd. So, again, when Lisa brought up the fact that Gwen looked like her, this is something that, she's never opened up about. This is something that she's never talked about with, anybody, again, to include her husband. So she took that as an opportunity to be transparent. Again, going back to what she said before, that she thought they were more than, surface friends. She took this as a means for them to, dive deeper into their friendship and stuff like that. And Lisa, she knew that this was a super sensitive matter for, Gwen and Bronwyn, but at the same time, and this is where she starts to hop on the gather them all up and, hold them in my bosom, freaking bandwagon. And by that, I mean, she talks about how, it was sad for them, but it's also sad for the grandparents because they lost their son. And this was mainly pointed at the after show, where Lisa was mostly speaking for the paternal grandparents and, talking about how she's the one that brought up the fact that apparently they thought that she had lost trigger warning, y'all, lost the baby back then. And she provided some more backstory from, their perspective on the after show is what I'm talking about. And then Lisa also had made it a point to tell us that the after show was, filmed before the show even airs. So at that time, she was speaking from a place of pure just sadness and how this just hurts everybody involved, the paternal grandparents, Bronwyn, Gwen, just everybody across the board, right? But Bronwyn's like, no. That's not how it happened at all. And how it happened was down at the foot massage place or whatever, we were talking, and Lisa said that she had spoke to the grandmother, and she said that they thought that Bronwyn had, again, trigger warning, lost the baby. And then we see some unseen footage that we didn't see of that same outing where Bronwyn did say, it went just like that. And then Bronwyn said that her dad had actually left them a message, and Bronwyn then says that she had told production to cut those clips. She said she didn't want those clips to be aired if possible. She wanted to keep this as discreet as possible. As we said before, this is something that she's never opened up to about, like, with anybody really. So this is not something that, of course, she would just be so freely trying to just let it all out on this show. She's kept it very close to the chest. So Lisa, she's like, you didn't tell me that you told them that. And this is where we get this is the major disconnect, is now you've repeated something that I've told you that you should know, not even that you should just know, or that I told you, you should just know, since we're supposed to be good friends or whatever. I'm assuming that's what Bronwyn was saying. Like, you should know, like, that's not something that you should just, say. And even in this moment, as they're continuing to go back and forth, we have Lisa over here crying. I don't really even know if she was really crying, because did you guys see any tears? I really didn't see any tears, but the face was all twisted up. Anyway,
just the ugly face, not the
ugly crying face, but I didn't really see any tears. Nonetheless, Lisa, instead of actually hearing Bronwyn out, she's hooping and hollering about how she wishes none of this was ever brought up in the first place. It hurts everybody. Once again, she's all lives are mattering right now to her, and Bronwyn's not trying to hear that, because at the end of the day, a test of friendship is you being able to sympathize with somebody that you call a friend. So this is obviously going to change us. This is obviously going to be something that is going to cause a rift, because this is like probably the most serious matter in her life, and you can't even look me in the eyes and say, hey, I'm sorry that I hurt you, your daughter, etc., etc. And even Meredith had jumped in to try to, well, she jumps in and she defends Lisa, in my opinion. And she's like, I think that's why she's crying, talking about Lisa. Do you know how hurtful that was to hear that repeated on national TV? Is again the stance that Bronwyn's trying to take on this whole thing. And I feel like the entire time Lisa was just redirecting her focus of the conversation on to how, it's everybody's hurt. And then she brings up how this is a consistent problem with Bronwyn, because Bronwyn gave her an example of like something that she could have said that would actually have landed a lot better. And Lisa's whole thing is like, don't tell me what to say. I'm going to say what I want to say and be how I want to be. I'm Lisa Barlow, whatever. And again, Lisa's whole thing is she would never want to hurt them. She needs, if she could say what she wants to say, then she would have said it. She understands the magnitude of what she was asked to do. And it was very heavy.
Say that? When she said that, did she mean production?
I was confused as to what she meant by that exactly. I thought I knew what she meant. I'm not.
Does she mean production? Does that mean that they made her bring something up that she really didn't want to bring up? Or is it something else going on?
Fire me. Then I guess I'm just gonna be fired then, because, or put on, hiatus or something, because if we're really truly friends and this is something that's that serious, like there's no matter, like I'm not doing it. I'm not speaking it, period. So, but again, Lisa's shallow. So, it is what it is.
Well, she said that was her sociable, her social friend.
That means at parties we clink and keep it cute, and we might take a selfie here or there, but that's it. And again, in the end, Andy had asked Bronwyn, where things pretty much like stand between her and her grandparents, and pretty much the same as where it left off. Gwen is 18 now. If she wants to cross that bridge, if she wants to dive into that, then she will. If not, that is totally respected by her mother, and she's going to leave that up to her. And as I said before, Bronwyn feels as though at a minimum, Lisa needs to sympathize with her rather than trying to stand on the fence and try to see things from both sides, and et cetera, et cetera. And my whole thing is, if Lisa all these people's retainer or something, because and obviously, as Bronwyn said, she's trying to keep things as discreet as possible. And Lisa also didn't give up any personal identifiable information about the people, but it's like alleged that they're like really got some coin and the whole nine. So I'm thinking, like, based on how what we know about Lisa and how she's so attracted to people that show a certain social status or financial status, I'm assuming she must be going this hard about them, because they really must have some money and something that she wants, because it's clearly you only go surface with people. So if this is people that you're going to go harder for than surface, they must have something that you desire. They must be doing really well in life, because you can't even come down one notch and understand that you opening your mouth to repeat something that she said. Because at the end of the day, how could she argue this? Because as I just said, we seen an unseen clip. So had this not been brought up in this reunion, had Lisa repeated it in the after show, we would have never seen that unseen footage. It would have been left on the cutting room floor. We would have never known anything about it. So, like, that should just tell you right there, Lisa, like you're messed up, and you're talking about F you, whatever. Like, the hit dog was hollering.
I mean, totally. I mean, yeah. I didn't believe not one cry, not one little piece of cry. Read that. Let's read the comment though. She got pregnant her first or second year in college. The son didn't pass until years later because he married someone else. Lisa said his wife and grandparents wanted to meet Gwen now 10 years later. Now here's my thing. I'm glad that's why I want to read it, because I knew it had something to do with something I was going to, similar to what I was thinking. I'm trying to understand why. First of all, I didn't ever think about what you just said, all this all this financial money and all this other thing. It makes sense. That makes sense.
They got to be they're billionaires, clearly.
It makes sense. That all of this, that makes a lot of sense, because that would make sense why she's not just saying Bronwyn and walking over to her, getting on her knees, being at her knees, and saying, look, I'm so sorry for doing this. This never was my intention. That's what I think would have really brought it home for Bronwyn, not just you sitting over there saying, and it still took a long minute, and even her trying to give you something to say, you still didn't want to take it, and then you took offense to it. She was like, not trying to put words in your mouth, but she was literally just saying, you could have said this. I would have even accepted this. You ain't said nothing. But I hate to say this, but I kind of see where Lisa is if she's coming from the angle I'm about to say, and not this financial angle that you were just discussing, because I don't know the social or the financial background of these people. But what I do think is that she's I thought she was empathizing that these people lost their son. And so if those are her friends, or, people that she is closer to than she is with Bronwyn. And, I don't know how, everybody grieves differently, and there's a shrine at the house, and she sees this person every time she goes over there. I don't know how often she hangs out with these people, anything, none of that. What I'm saying is, if she's coming from that angle, like she sees these people and they still are in mourning, which probably they are, but still in mourning, and it's so fresh. I don't know. From Lisa's point of view, I can see her saying, well, dang, I would love to bring Gwen around and she looks like their dad. Because I don't know if she ever said that she don't look just like you. She does look just like her dad. Like we haven't even got to that good part of it. But I just think that Lisa hasn't looked around the full room and took a full scope of everything. We don't know what the angle is with those people and her. So, like, literally, it would be better if Lisa just had shut up, even if she was taking information from both sides and not say nothing to nobody and let it like organically happen. And then when they become friends or whatever, and girl, I knew that the first week she told me this, that day of day one, but I didn't want to get in it, and I wasn't want to get involved. That's the type of thing that you want, that you're trying to, something that you want. Like she said, I'm just hoping something good happens later on in life, and da-da-da-da. Like, for a person that you want that to happen for, you don't play the sides, and you don't, somebody's telling you this hurt me, and this is something I wish you wouldn't have shared, and you still keep saying, yeah, but then, like, literally, why am I talking to you? Why am I talking to you? And that's just crazy.
Yeah, that seems to be an issue for more than one person on this cast. The whole playing the middle. Like, I do understand that there is certain situations in life that you will find yourself kind of in the middle of you know, types of things like this. But there's a way in which you could do it that doesn't make it come off like the way Lisa's coming off. And I feel like if she just would, she has a hard time just shutting the and listening. And if she would just do that sometimes, because even in this moment, like I said before, she's too busy like, I'm sorry, like
sarcastically though,
sarcastically coming at people and playing, I don't want to say playing the victim as much as it's just like thinking that like, oh my gosh, like somebody's trying to, like, it's always Lisa's fault, like I effed up, because I think she even said that, she was like, yeah, like sorry that I effed up and blah blah blah, like, and it's just like, first of all, relax. Second of all, if you would just hear the girl out for 2 seconds and really sit in and take accountability and really look at it from a 360 perspective, you would understand where she was coming from. And I feel like it all also points at the fact that, you know, again, she's a surface person. So a lot of these emotions, a lot of this type of stuff, like she just doesn't like, she doesn't operate on that wavelength with anybody. So it's hard for her to even go there in this moment and even like completely take away the word empathy, because that just doesn't exist with her. You could see it that a lot of times in her reactions. Think back to the boat situation when she was so quick to jump on Todd's perspective or Todd's side, or, you know, really just, you know, sit there and not really take in the gravity of what Bronwyn was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like she just doesn't have that ability to do it, y'all. Like she's like I don't even,
because her husband allows her to take over conversations like I just did.
I'm about to
like he does, like as she starts talking, he just turn it into a mummy.
Scalp his ass next week, and I can't wait because I know
he's
going to piss me off. He already did two minutes on that stage, and we're about to get into that next scene, y'all. But it's just like she just doesn't have those. She doesn't have those things in her. I need to actually put an interview with her family, because wasn't it didn't she supposedly take John from her sister? Like, wasn't her sister somebody
yeah?
She just doesn't have she doesn't have all the
wherewithal,
a sound. She doesn't have that. She doesn't. Hey, Whooper, how you doing? What's going on?
Nice. Okay.
Oh yes,
that would be Whooper or Whopper. No, Whopper is the other way.
At California Cutie, Lisa was just in the mix for personal gain, no dice. That's what it all comes down to. Is
there you go.
Like the only time we will really like from this point on, y'all, I'm never telling you guys to, you know, you got to think like me, because you don't have to do that at all. But I really want you guys to at least try to ask yourself from here on out, like when you see Lisa sticking hard to somebody and showing up for them and kikiing and smiling and all that, I want you guys to like take a second to really assess, like, what do these people have? What is in their bank account? Who do they know? Who like what do they have going on in their life? Like, because 9 times out of 10, I feel like that's going to give you the answer as to why Lisa wants to, you know, stick next to these people. Because if she doesn't see you as a come up in any regard, I just don't see her sticking next to you. I don't. And that's why in this situation, like Bronwyn, yeah, she was a big fish probably until, again, she realized in this situation, she a big fish, but the paternal grandparents are a bigger fish. So clearly, let me just forget Bronwyn. She's a millionaire. Here. Like what? Exactly. Hey, Yvette.
Hey, Yvette.
Yeah, she was
always.
She was, I'm glad that, you know, I'm not crazy and you guys are seeing what I'm putting down, because, honey. Nonetheless, y'all, in this next, we get a quick little lunch break, cute, whatever. Everybody backstage. The husbands are backstage, of course. Lisa's back there trying to push out some tears. I don't see them coming down her face at all. And Angie and Whitney, they take a moment to focus on how Lisa's just been very emotional. I feel like it was a deflection mechanism, but that's just me. Whitney also mentions how, like, after a certain point, like, does one not notice that they are the common denominator? That's another thing too, is like, Lisa, no one's really saying anything different. I could see if everybody was saying something different, but if everybody's saying the same thing about you, maybe, just maybe,
they're all wrong. Just maybe they're all wrong, Barb. They're all wrong, Barb. What are you saying right now? You talking about Lisa reading the room?
There's a y'all. I will venture to say that there is a very, 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 very small fraction of things in life that everyone could be wrong on and you could be right on. Like, there's only probably a very select amount of situations that everybody can be lying and you could be telling the truth, because this is just not one of them. And even if it doesn't even always have to mean lying, it could just mean, like, you know, you making little adjustments in how you're coming off or something, like your tone. Like, it doesn't even have to mean that you're just dead ass wrong all the time, as much as it's people are telling me this consistently across the board. What can I do to just take a moment, take this in, and maybe turn this into something that I can, you know, find some value in? She doesn't want to do that at all. And that's because her dumbass husband keeps beefing her head up and allowing her to just go and just be, you know, however she wants to be in the world, and not, you know, telling her, like, hey, wait a minute, maybe you want to look in the mirror real quick, just 2 seconds. Can we get a 2-second mirror look, please?
Girl, she be in her camera so much, I can't believe she don't see herself. And it's funny because she came in with that energy in the beginning with Whitney. Like, I was like, okay, so, you know, it's the reunion, everything, and they started talking and the question. But I even felt, I was like, dang, you not even gonna come in on some, like, even when Bronwyn said the first thing she said, you know, I come in here, I'm gonna come in with my apologies, and then, you know, I'm hoping to get some apologies. And
Whitney and Bronwyn were the only two that said something.
I know, but but I say that to say they said that. But the other couch, mainly Lisa, starting off with it, her attitude was so stank. And talking to Whitney, it's like, you didn't even come for resolve. You came in here like, I'm coming here and I want her to talk mess to me. It's like, why? So yeah, it's not even an immature thing. It's like, Lisa, you think you're right so much. Your narc is out all the time, and it just annoys us to no end, because nobody can be right all the time. Just nobody can be right all the time.
A resolve requires like I just said, at a minimum 2.2 seconds of a mirror look.
Reflection.
I don't want to do that at all for even a fraction of a second. So yeah, of course, there's never, it doesn't exist in her. It doesn't exist in her, y'all. And I mean, you know, that might work for some people, whatever, but for me, like, I could not just walk around here like that. I would feel like, you know, the worst person in the world. But, you know, it is what it is. She's happy. She loves her life. She has a great life. She has a yes man. Her kids are amazing. Like, she has all the things. So I guess if you think like that, there is no room for that. Actually, let me take that back, because even the people that have all the things and love their life still take 2.2 seconds to do a mirror look. Like, let's be like, I can't do it with her, man. Lisa projects all the time with her name dropping and her stank tequila. Yeah, still, y'all, we're wrapping up the season and still. And, you know, like, because I saw that they have it in New York sometimes or whatever. So when I was at home, I was like, okay, like, Jersey, like, I should be able to, like, drive somewhere and maybe, like, find it or whatever. No, still didn't find it. Glad you said it. I too think John enables Lisa's delusional antics. Hella disgusting. Yeah, it's just like weird. They just live in a delusional bubble. Hey, Preston. Wait, is the reunion out? Yes, this is part one. Tapping. Part two is tomorrow. We'll be back on Thursday.
Yeah, you got to go catch up, or you can watch the review, because you know my sis gonna tell it like it was. Okay, so but yes, the reunion is out, and honey,
That's all I can do. Also, when they were backstage, Todd was sure that Bronwyn was holding her own. I like their little exchange. It made me laugh. But as I said before, they were all on a momentary break. And when they come back from break, the husbands were all on stage with them, with the exception of Robert Sr. Were we surprised? I wasn't. And Mary candidly let us know, for obvious reasons, he's not present because, quite frankly, he doesn't want to be a part of this shit show. And honestly, I can't blame him. Based on being called a predator in past seasons, I probably wouldn't want to, come up here and kiki with y'all either. So anyway, he's content. And that's perfectly fine in my book. The first question was directed at Bronwyn on whether or not she was apprehensive about, like bringing Todd onto the show, because he is very blunt. He is very tell it like how he sees it, and black and white on how he feels. And she says that they've had some good conversations as they've watched it back. She would have, said before the show and during the show that they had a good relationship, but actually now looking back on it, they actually have a even stronger relationship. And there's been a lot of things that she's looked back on and gotten outside perspectives on that have made her feel as though like there's some things that she would like to change in her communication style within her marriage. And she doesn't want to speak for him, but at the same time he actually admits to feeling the same way, that it's given him a different perspective to look at. And from there he also talks about how he finds it interesting that a number of people within this group didn't even know his name, but they were so quick to assert different things about him. And oh, I was like, oh, who's in chat? People's opinions, are people's opinions. They don't mean that it's truth. And he does say that a lot of people could be envious of them, of what they've done together. Now, I was with him until that part, because I'm like, whoa. I mean, yeah, maybe somebody somewhere envies them, but I'm like, okay, let's not put too much on it now. But and I say that not even as a genuine jab, as much as it's just like, no, like I was all, for me, I can only speak for me. I just don't take how everybody portrays themselves online, on TV, hell, even in everyday life. You never know what goes on behind closed doors. So no, I don't envy it, but as long as you guys like it, I love it. I love it for y'all.
Here's the thing. Anybody that's really married, no doggone well, it ain't always rose petals and freaking butterflies and bubbles and especially if you in longevity marriage. So let's be clear. If you trying to think that you're going to tell a married person anything that our marriage is perfect and we get along perfect, shut up talking to me. Get away from me.
You're gonna run.
That's okay, Preston.
I'm gonna sprint the other way, like immediately.
No way, no how. You got differences. I've been with my husband 25 years. We have been married. Next month gonna be 12 years. Okay, yeah. So 12 years we've been married. Do I love that dude? Yeah. Do he get on my last nerve? Yes. Sure the hell do. On my last one. But I wouldn't want it any other worse. Wait some time, because I don't want to start over with somebody else. And thank God, 25 years, I know this dude. Like, I really know this dude. So yeah, you're not gonna sit and tell me that, oh yeah, y'all are envious of our relationship because of what? Because y'all got money? Because I'm not envious of none of it. I know the real. Y'all didn't show us the real. Y'all show us how y'all argue. Your wife is so busy trying to make sure that she comes with the jokes about y'all age difference or and things. So
I forgot to say that. Mm-hmm.
So when you do that, you're the one bringing attention to it. Even if we're thinking it, you shouldn't say it. Even if our weird selves is thinking it, let our weird selves think it. You don't say it because your husband is listening to it. You say it. And now you can't defend yourself from what you just said. It's different when somebody else would have said it. So yeah, It's part 2 tonight. Tomorrow night, Yvette.
Yep, tomorrow.
On Wednesday night, and we'll be back on Thursday.
Tonight is freaking Roni. Ugh. Anyway,
Yikes.
yeah. I'll save that for a different day. A 7 right now, and I'll be here for part 2. Oh, thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Y'all, collectively, we got 52 people watching us from amongst all the platforms that we're streaming. So make sure you guys are liking, make sure you're subscribing,
sharing,
commenting, doing all of the things, y'all. Actually, before we get into this last 5 seconds of this episode, I will do a like the video real quick. So you guys, yeah. Let's make a bet. After Mary mentioning reason for Robert Sr. not wanting to be a part of RHOSLC, maybe a private conversation with Bronwyn if he is not to be on screen next season. I feel like, although obviously we loved everything that Mary was giving this season, we appreciate her transparency. Like, she definitely gave us her real life. There's no holds barred about that. But what I will say is that, and I was actually thinking about that when we were looking at the analytics and stuff in the beginning. We're going to need something different for her next season, though. I do feel like she's going to have to give even more now. And I mean, either she's going to have to bring in some family members, she's going to have to do something, different next season. So
she's going to have to host a trip. She's going to have to host the next trip.
Yeah, we're going to open that church. She's going to have to open that church back up. We're going to need something new, different. Otherwise it's going to, she's going to be a thing of the past, obviously. So, yeah, I'll bet on that. Mm-hmm. Oh, Roni. Okay. Yes. Roni tonight, and Beverly Hills, I believe, tonight as well. Hyacinth and Richard, Lisa and her husband will always talk junk about people. I love how Todd checked Mr. Palo Park when he tried to get loud. Yeah. I cannot wait to get to that part because I thought Mary and her husband separated.
I was thinking, I was like, they're not living together. I don't believe nothing. I'm right here. I'm right here with you. And it must be amicable. It might be because he moved to Vegas, because he lives in Vegas. He does live in Vegas, correct?
It's not that they're separated as much as it's that he
lives in Vegas.
She don't mess with that man. Y'all know what it is. She don't really see it for that man. They legally married, yeah. And I'm gonna let her have that. That's between
that's all I would say too.
I know that situation. That's why I was like, do we even really have to ask why he's not here? Can we just move past that? We know what's going on.
That might be something we might discuss next season. She might really let us know what the real deal is with what's going on with Robert Sr. Not like that. If they're breaking up, because I won't, I don't want to be in our business, but I'm saying if y'all breaking up, that would be something we would want to know. If y'all still together, then we want to see y'all together once or twice in one of the episodes of the 18 episodes, once or twice. I don't care if it's just on the phone, but I do. Did he get on the phone? He was on the phone once this season or no? Right. So I need him to be on the phone at least. What's up, Orange Blossom?
Hey, Orange Blossom. Hey, everybody. And I think we might see Mary's church next season. Yeah. She's whether, yes, it's a conversation with Robert or the church or her. I don't want to say that because that's, again, something deep, not something that we should just be doing for storylines, but whether that's her trying to reconcile with her mother, there's different stuff there. Yes, you're gonna have to dive into something different in her life, obviously.
Or even have we seen her siblings?
No, but what she has, 6 of them or 5, 4? She has.
Yeah, we need to see a sibling or two and what's their dynamic and which they got going on with her. Is she close to any of them? One of them, like, you know, yeah, we need to come on there. Come on, Mar.
In the first season or so, I want to say like her cousin or somebody. Remember, like there was somebody there like working on her house or something. Like it was like a cousin or somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. Yeah, obviously she's estranged from several people in her family, but again, she's going to, for longevity reasons, she's going to have to show us something different next season, because she's going to be, and it's actually for a good reason, because I hope she runs out of talking about things with Robert, meaning like I'm glad that he's, you know, sober and we're not talking about that anymore. Like that's a good thing, but also we need something to keep us entertained in her life, you know. So yeah. No, I was saying Todd may privately speak with Bronwyn for not being aired next season. No, you know, honestly,
I got you.
He seems to be all the way on board, and his like whole attitude has seemed to change. Even on Watch What Happens Live, it seems as though like he actually, I'm not going to say like enjoys it, because I feel like that's still like a stretch, but I think he's like cool with it actually now. I do.
I think he's okay, and I think that because him and his wife are both themselves talk on TV to one another, and what that looks like from the outside looking in, and not just being in the conversation and not giving look at that time who's listening, and really saying, you know what, making conscious decisions to say, I'm not going to talk to my wife like that, or tell her like, look, don't be coming for me trying to beat them to the punch. If they got something to say, let they dumb self say it, and then I'll come. Then you speak on it, but don't come for me trying to hurry up and come for, you know, for a punchline for me. Like, we got this. They can't come for our music, like that kind of thing. So yeah, he Molly, you know, but they all do better in the sophomore year. They all do better. And Bronwyn, the way she came for this in her freshman, I mean, it's only, to me, can only get better. You know, I just see better things still coming from her and Todd. I think Todd will allow her to flourish. I need y'all to show them receipts. Maybe y'all wait until the last part of the reunion to show receipts. But I'm gonna need her to show us. If you bought some jewelry from this lady, show it to us. If you haven't, I'm gonna need you to be like, yeah, I didn't because, and I lied because.
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff, I think with Todd, like, it's just, again, what you see is what you get. And he's kind of made, I feel like, his boundaries clear.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about things with Gwen, for real.
Off limits.
And we're also not going to just be, you know, poking and prodding and trying to, you know, come for his marriage in certain ways and different stuff or whatever. He's not for the bullshit, y'all. So I think now that we've worked out those kinks, they can, you know, communicate probably better. He can understand how he's, you know, coming off and stuff like that. And now I would, you know, go as far as to say Gwen is now left the nest. She's 18, whatever. She's probably at college or whatever. I mean, we'll obviously probably see her here and there. Mm-hmm. I don't think we'll have a lot of the friction that we had this season with them. So I do think that means then that, yeah, he'll be more forthcoming with filming.
I got a question. Well, I know we got one more scene to get to, but I'm wondering with the scene that we get of the preview of Meredith jumping up and getting upset about whoever's coming for her stuff, I'm wondering if Meredith is even going to come back because she's done. So I'm just saying.
We don't know. We
I can't wait to that scene.
I can't wait either. Yes, Mary's cousin came to the house to replace the carpet, I think.
Yes, the carpet. That's good.
So clearly the family is around. So I'm just saying, Mary, just throwing it out there. FYI, you will need to bring something.
Yeah, get your support system together, girl.
Yeah, you can't, you have to keep giving. Anyway, so Heather's face in this moment when Todd said what he said, though, you guys clocked it. Her face definitely let us know that she caught that stray because it definitely was directed at her. Mm-hmm. And so Bronwyn also speaks on like you said, her coming off very sarcastic and very much beat the next person to the punch line and everything. And so then Andy, where'd I go? Andy does ask if they, set some things off limits coming into the show. And Todd does say yes, they did, such as with Gwen, who he's been in her life for the majority of her life, 10 plus years at this point. So bringing up sensitive topics with her was a complete no-go, completely unacceptable for him, and almost I forget what the word is he used, but again, in short, y'all, I want to say like he said something synonymous to like defaming, I want to say. Bringing up anything with her in that regard was completely unacceptable, and what was asserted was completely unacceptable. And so then as he's saying this, this is when John chimes in to ask, who brought it up? And Todd's like, your wife. Without stuttering, without skipping a beat. Yes, your wife did. And John's like, no, she didn't. Like, no, mm-mm.
No, and then we got Bronwyn chiming in like, yeah, we're talking about the after show.
Yes.
You're right. That's all we can. Like, I think it was falling on deaf ears. You're not listening. We're not talking about it in the season. We're talking about specifically to this after show. And this is what Bronwyn was saying. Go ahead, sis. I just had to, because it was pissing me off. You weren't listening.
Bronwyn did jump in saying this is in reference to the after show. Hold your horses. And Lisa jumped in too, saying that, she gets where Todd is coming from. Which, okay. And we leave off with Todd saying that, to Lisa, you're asserting that Bronwyn, again, trigger warning, had lost the baby. And before he could even finish his statement, y'all, John cuts him off again to say, you watch your tone, y'all, like I said before, in my opinion, Todd is somebody who doesn't mince his words. He is very, as much as sometimes he can come off harsh based on the things that he says. Mm-hmm. I will say that he's pretty even toned when he does speak. We've never heard him like yelling or screaming or raising his voice at all. So in this moment, I don't feel as though he needed to be told to watch his tone or anything like that, especially when Lisa, of all people, why didn't he tell her to watch her tone when she ran up to Justin and was going off and saying this, that, and the other thing? Furthermore, this is why I brought up my point earlier when I said, we can't keep moving a goalpost on, like, if we're gonna put everybody together and it's gonna be this husband and this husband and this wife or whatever, we got to be able to address each other, especially when that husband or that wife brought that husband or wife into it from the get-go. At this point, it's a family matter. Again, he's not her biological father, but he's been in her life for X amount of years. So I think he is perfectly entitled to, having an issue with something sensitive being brought up. And I feel like also, though, too, at the same time, I was actually surprised that Lisa, maybe, I don't know if she learned her lesson or what it was indicative of, but I was surprised that based off of, because, again, multiple things can be true at the same time, y'all. Todd definitely has fired some shots unprovoked, I feel like, at Lisa before. Remember he was bashing the tequila, and there's been certain little things I feel like he has said during the season that, technically speaking, Lisa could, I feel like, kind of come at him over. But even in this moment, she didn't. I feel like I was surprised when she said, she understood where he's, so you understand where he's coming from, but you can't understand where his wife is coming from when she was talking about the origin of this whole thing. No, it was just very odd for me, but that's literally where it cut off. And yes, This was the word. And I was like, wait, what did you say? Yeah. Lisa looked scared when he said that. Yeah, it was her energy changed when maybe, and I'm not about to play
What you
gender
mean? Her energy changed when what?
like I said, like I feel like there's certain things that she could probably have came at Todd over, or she wouldn't. When it comes to her and anybody else, she's not so quick to admit like, oh, I can see where you're coming from, and like she didn't just jump off the porch with it when it came to him. So I was like, that's odd. Like where, like any other time with anybody else, I feel like you would come and try to meet them with fire and immediately start raising your voice and stuff. But in this moment, she didn't really give that. And yeah, it could have been the fact that, yeah, she was looking scared or what have you. But I'm like, oh, is that because maybe like, again, not playing gender roles here at all. But I'm like, maybe because you're not used to seeing a man be, and let me be, I'm be quiet.
I was like, where my sister going with it? But okay, I got you now. I got everything now. I got it. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out what was going on, but now I get exactly what y'all. I see what y'all putting down, y'all. Child. I just feel like Lisa, you're right. She's not used to that. But I just was thinking maybe now that the husbands are on, she has her husband to speak. So if Todd said something, her husband probably will jump in. She's not, because they might have had not a pact, but because of what happened with her and Justin, he might have said, you know what, if a man speaks to you, if I'm there, I'll speak up. You don't have to say nothing. Did you catch the subliminal read towards Lisa by Todd about Lisa not having to do special favors to join the Skybox basketball?
I didn't
hear that subliminal.
Oh, now I need to go.
Lisa not having
that. He definitely was, and that's what I'm saying. Like usually, I feel like Lisa would be so ready to come crazy, but she didn't. I need to go and rewatch. I did not see that or hear that. Dang. Yeah, she obviously at this point, y'all. I think it's safe for us to make that assessment of
that's
her.
What Whitney was calling her.
That's literally how she comes off, and if that's who you are, that's cool. But just stand in it, like we said about Meredith. Like just admit it. Just admit it.
Nothing wrong with it, girl. Just go on with it. Go on with it. This is what I've been doing. You ain't gonna stop me. Nobody cares. We don't care. All we know is we see it.
Pretty much. But yeah, that's where we left off, y'all. And like we said, part 2 tomorrow. I think it's gonna get even better. Again, we already gave our ratings earlier on, so if you guys didn't, let us know what you rated this episode out of 10 in the chat. Again, it was a 7. It was, for me, it was definitely 7.5. Respectfully,
I gave it a 7, y'all. I gave it a cool little 7.
So let us know in the chat. Again, we definitely enjoyed y'all, and especially because we are late on this one, but we appreciate collectively at this point we got 59 people watching. Shout outs to you all. Don't forget, if you're watching on X, come on over here to YouTube. Make sure you liking and commenting and subscribing to both channels. Our social medias have been scrolling along the bottom this entire time, so make sure you follow us on there so you can stay up to date on all things California Cutie and all things Barb Meets World. I think that's pretty much it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Y'all always keep it super lively over here. We appreciate you.
Absolutely do. Hit that like button on the way out, just in case you forgot to. Maybe you just came in late and was like, oh, I forgot to hit the like button. So make sure you hit the like button. And we gonna see y'all in a couple of days, y'all, because like we said, part 2 is tomorrow. So y'all should see us, within maybe 72 hours, 48 hours. Y'all just make sure your notification bell is on all so you guys can get the notification, okay?
that is the plan, y'all. Yeah, and that's all I got. That's all we got. So we will see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.